do, because I think, things like, let's say you have military drones that go and bomb terrorists, let's say you could have AI police, AI, like maybe an AI decides your sentence for a crime or decides how you should be punished and things like that. How far is too far when it comes to, AI? If we had unlimited potential for how we could actually develop it.
Well,
that's the question.
The thing that would suck about all of that is just who creates those guidelines, because somebody has to create them, and unless you have the fairest, smartest person or group of people on the planet working together, even then, has there ever been a guiding set of principles that everyone agrees on?
No, there's never going to be an objectively correct. But then again, you have the rules of AI. I think we talked about it before. Yeah. But like, don't kill a human or don't harm a human unless it saves more humans than that. And
no, but we're talking about guidelines for humans.
Oh well, I was saying guidelines for how AI should be used.
I know, but I'm saying somebody has to, like, if you want self-policing AI, somebody would have to create guidelines for what those bots or whatever they'll be, drones or whatever, can arrest you for, right?
Yeah, I suppose so. Unless they can learn themselves and make that decision,
Because it's only black and white with them.
A person would have to do it. It's kind of like with image recognition. It depends on what data set they're giving the robot itself or the AI to make that decision.
I think we will never, like, all of the, I don't know if it's the same word in English, but like all the humanity, is it? I'm not sure how it's called, but like jobs like lawyer and judge and these things that require like consideration of many facets of like a case. I don't think those jobs would be outsourced to machines. I don't think people would give them, especially like abiding, because it's so subjective. You can't say objectively like, oh, somebody stole something from a shop, so they have to like go to jail and serve time, because they might have stole it for a reason that's only.
Oh yeah, maybe.
Like, say for example, somebody steals an EpiPen from a pharmacy to go outside and save somebody's life, right? So
yeah,
it's not, you can't. It's context based, so you can't like trust an algorithm to make those calls.
Yeah, that's the thing. But what if it gets to a point where they do let an algorithm decide? They say, okay, you stole something, so that's it. You get this amount of time. No human, decides. But then you could have minor things like if you, I don't know, trying to think of something that an AI could do in terms of controlling humans, but it's probably not actually anything. Maybe let's say you speed, that's kind of like a flat thing. If you go 50 over the speed limit, you can get this fine. It doesn't matter if you're taking your wife to the hospital or something.
Yeah, exactly. But that's why you can't. Nobody in their right mind would entrust AI to do this. Like they obviously, that's how they do it now. That's how they flag you. That's how they give you tickets. But you can take it to court and dispute it and say, look, my wife or whoever, there was somebody in my car that needed urgent medical attention. Here's what happened. So you can't entrust that job to machines. You just wouldn't if you're a sane person. And I think more broadly regarding your topic, I think AI would need to follow the same set of like ethics and rules that humans follow to begin with, and probably have like another set on top of that specifically for machines.
I would say that AI, let's say if it did make decisions, it should only be used to advise. A human should ultimately make the decision, but the AI could give its, like it could say, okay, I recommend this punishment or this should happen, and then the human can decide whether that's actually right or not.
The problem is that like the guiding the guiding principles of governance will ultimately always be flawed by human intelligence. Like, in order for something to be governed, you can't leave it into the hands of AI, because they'll just say, well, it'll just make decisions that don't take context into consideration, as Victor mentioned. So you'll always have the flaw and benefit of humans creating those guiding principles, right? Unless you go off something that we can claim was divine, like only say the 10 Commandments or whatever. Like those are kind of some of the oldest guiding principles, right? But yeah, anything else that you want to govern will always have. For example, this is a ridiculous example, but you know when they did that boat naming competition?
Oh yeah.
And people got to vote on like what the name of some boat that was being created, and they ended up with Boaty McBoatface.
Yeah, classic.
Yeah, people will always just find stupid and entertaining ways to govern stuff, and maybe that is the right way to go. I don't know. Maybe that isn't flawed.
Obviously, it is.
If you let people make the decisions, but if you leave it all to a machine, then it wouldn't choose Boaty McBoatface.
Well,
yeah, but it would give you
because
the boat,
Mr. Boat.
It cannot have it doesn't have creativity. Like all of its names that it's gonna come up with are gonna be based on what people are saying online, probably. So it'll probably end up with something even more inappropriate. But that's
most popular phrases online.
Yeah.
I don't want to repeat it on the podcast. Actually, I'll get cancelled.
Yeah, it was like the chatbot that Google created.
That's a good
Facebook.
one. Yeah.
Like,
how long was it before it turned into a Nazi? Like 3 days.
Yeah.
It was. I mean,
what did it say?
Nice.
Can I repeat this on podcast? I'm quoting the AI.
Oh wait, hold on, Dave. What did
it? It said that Bush did something.
Think about.
It said George Bush did something, a certain terrorist attack.
Okay. Right. That's what the AI said. That's not what.
The AI said that. I don't think that Bush did anything. Any terrorist attacks.
He's too stupid to have done it. Come on.
He didn't do anything at all.
Yeah, he didn't do anything. That could be another topic.
Yeah.
About US politics.
George Bush.
No. No.
Just George Bush.
George Bush. Yeah.
We should dedicate a whole episode on George W. Bush, his policies, his memes.
Yeah.
Man, we used to think that's the bad one. That's the bad president.
You thought, oh man, George Bush. I remember watching animations and cartoons about how stupid George Bush was.
Yeah.
How he was like so obsessed with like bombing Iraqis and stuff like that. And now, is that appropriate to say?
Is what appropriate?
Bombing Iraqis.
Anyway, back to your topic. I'm gonna nip this in the bud because
good point. Yeah, good idea. So I was talking about the ethics of AI. So what they can and can't do. But this is hypothetical. This is like when AI is intelligent, or at least appears to be intelligent, and has like a very large database which it can refer to make decisions.
Yeah, I'm confident that it would have a huge set of rules that it needs to follow, which are probably going to be decided on internationally, likely, like the same way we have like stuff like how to deal with refugees at the moment and things like that. So I think that's how,
like the Geneva Convention for AI.
International Convention. Yeah, but yeah, like the things, the fully democratized thing, like what Balti McBaltface and what some crypto companies are doing, I don't think that's the way. Like the majority of people, are dumb. Like more people than
That's true.
you realize are really dumb, and they should not be making decisions for like a healthy society. So we should still have like.
I shouldn't be making decisions for a healthy society. If people are dumber than me, then they definitely shouldn't.
Yeah.
I mean, you could say the same about politicians, though, right? Like, how many people actually believe in their country's politicians to do a good job? It's
still the best we could come up with so far. Well, I don't think like total like just voting on everything. Everybody votes on the same, like every single person voting on something is a solution, because it's just gonna be like
that's
yeah.
That's not the at least from my understanding, that's not the intention of companies in the Web3 space and DAOs and things like that.